Welcome back. This is the third lesson recording for IM2, January 28th, 2021. So we've just put everything together and figured out all the key features or key attributes of this quadratic equation. So then we are going to plot it and graph it now. Okay, so what do we know? We know that it's going to be opening down. So we're expecting a parabola that's going to be a sad face. By that I mean if I was to put a person, some eyes there, it will look like a frowning face. So it's a sad face for parabola. What are the x-intercepts? We do not know. Okay, what are the y-intercepts? 0, -3. So I can put my 0, -3 here. What are the vertex? We figured out 2, 5. 2, 5. Okay, it's right there. Okay, the minimum number of points that you do need to be able to figure out the shape of a parabola is 3. And you might say, oh, we only have 2. Well, we know that one of the point is a vertex. That's the key thing. So we know that this is vertex, and that's 2, 5. Okay, so this point is vertex. That means we know that it's going to go, the vertex is going to go through the line of symmetry. This is the line of symmetry, is always going to go through the vertex. That means we know that it's also going to be symmetrical. So if I have this point here and I have this point here, then reflecting this point against the mirror, it's going to give you this point right there as well. Okay, so this is the mirror point, the reflection point. That means I can say that this point is going to go through. So yes, we do have 3 points. And now we can sort of connect this and create a parabola. That's a rather pointy parabola, but it should be more curved. Okay, so that's how you would plot it. Even though you only have 2 points, you know that if it's a vertex, then you can figure out the other point and you can graph it. For the rest of the period, we worked on just more practice on graphing. Okay, finding the key attributes and then graphing from there. So I am just going to go over some of them. Let's start. Okay, so does the graph go open up or down? We have this equation. This is in standard form. Even though we only have 2 terms, what is the default term that I can add without changing the equation at all? I can add plus 0. In this case, the constant is a 0, okay? Because we have an x squared term and we have an x term, but we're missing the constant, and we can just add 0. You can't do that with a variable there, but with a constant you can do that, because you can always add 0 to anything and it does not change its overall value. Does the graph open up or down? To do that, we look at the very first number in front of the x squared. What is that number? It's -3. It's a negative number. That means it's going to be a sad face parabola. It's opening down. What are the x-intercepts? Okay, to do that, we need to try to factor it. Okay, we need to convert it to factored form. Well, when you have 2 terms and it's a quadratic equation, then it's easy. So that just becomes y is equal to, what are the factors? I can take out -3 and also x. -3 and x, and that's going to be leaving me with just the x. -3 times what is positive 12x? That's going to be plus 4. Oops, I meant -4. So -4. Okay, x minus 4, and again I should multiply, quickly just multiply it out. You can do it in your head if you feel comfortable, or you can do it on paper. -3x times x is -3x squared, which is what I have. -3x times -4 is positive 12x. Then from here, I can set this to be equal to 0. So 0 is equal to -3x multiplied by x minus 4. That means either this is like the first term or first factor. Okay, so either x is 0 or x minus 4 is equal to 0 using zero product property, and add 4 to both sides, you get x is equal to 4. That means my two x-intercepts are 0, 0 and 4, 0. Okay, I am just going to find all my values, then I'm going to draw my axis because that's going to make a big difference. What is my y-intercept? Well, I know that the constant is 0, so that's going to be just 0, 0. What is the vertex? To figure out the vertex, well, I have two options. I've factored, so I know the x-intercepts. So I could do that, or I could use my formula x is equal to negative b over 2a. What is a? A is negative 3, because that's the number in front of x squared. What's b? B is the number in front of x term, that's 12. And c in this case is 0. So b, negative b means negative 12 over 2a, 2 times negative 3. So that becomes negative 12 divided by 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Negative 12 divided by negative 6 is positive 2. So I figured out the x corner of the vertex is positive 2. What's the y corner? To do that, I substitute it into my original equation. So y is going to be equal to negative 3 times x squared. So it's going to be 2 squared plus 12 times 2. And again, I need to do the exponents. First, 2 squared is 4 times 3 is negative 12. Plus 12 times 2 is 24. So that's going to be positive 12. So I know that the vertex is 2, 12. Alright, so that means I need to be able to plot 0, 0, 4, 0, and 2, 12. Okay, so that makes me think, okay, I can create, I should be able to, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I can make it go by 1. Okay, and I need 0, comma, and 4. So it's going to look like this. That's my x and y axis. And they're all going to be incrementing in 1, so I do not need to put the scale down. If it's anything other than 1, I need to put the scale down. But in this case, but you know what? It's always good so that I don't miss out on things. So I'm just going to put some 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, so that way it's easy for me to figure out. Okay, so the vertices of vertex is 2, 12, and then the x-intercept is 0, 0, and 4, 0. Y-intercept is also that. So I just need to draw a nice parabola. It is a skinny one, isn't it? And the reason it's so skinny is because we're multiplying by 3. Oh, I forgot to do the line of symmetry. Remember, the line of symmetry always goes through the x coordinate of the vertex. So this is my line of symmetry. And what is the equation for that? That's x value of the vertex is 2, so x is equal to 2. Okay, what about this problem? Okay, is it opening up or down? There is no number here, so the default number is always 1. Okay, it's positive 1, so I can put 1 there, so it's positive, so it's going to be opening up. What are the x-intercepts? To do that, I set the equation to be 0, and I try to factor it. Okay, so I know that a is equal to 1, so that's going to be my easy factoring. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to 18, positive 18, but that add to negative 11. Well, 2 times 9 is 18. If I add those two numbers, I get 11. But I wanted the final sum to be negative, so I test with negative 2 and negative 9. So then from here, I separate it into two branches and solve each one of them. X minus 2 has to be either equal to 0 or x minus 9 is equal to 0. So adding 2 to both sides, x is equal to 2, x is equal to 9. So my two coordinates are 2, 0 and 9, 0. What are the y-intercept? Y-intercept is just a constant, so it's going to be 0, 18. What are the vertex? Okay, so then since I figured out the x-intercept, it's really easy. It's the average of the two x-intercepts. So the x value, x coordinate of the vertex is going to be the average of 2 plus 9. Not just 2 plus 9, but you need to divide by 2 because that's how we do average. That's 11 divided by 2 is 5.5. So now to figure out the y coordinate, I need to substitute that into the original equation. So that I'm looking for 5.5 all squared minus 11 times 5.5 plus 18. Now this is the time you will pull out your calculator, and I got negative 6.75. So the coordinate of the vertex is 5.5 comma negative 6.75. And the line of symmetry is always going to go through the x coordinate of the vertex, so that's going to be x is equal to 5.5. Okay, so then we need to have a graph that extends, that includes 2 to 9 on the x-axis and go to at least negative 6.75. Okay, so we can just put it in the middle. And I'm going to label some, so that's going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, negative 12, negative 2, negative 4, and so on. That's going to be 2, 4, 6, negative 2, negative 4, and negative 6. Alright, so then what are my x-intercepts? I have my two x-intercepts to be 2, 0 and 9, 0. The vertex is 5.5, so this is my 5, and 5.5 will be here, and negative 6.75 will be about here. So I'm going to write the vertex 5.5, 5.5 comma negative 6.75. Okay, and I can draw my line of symmetry through 5.5, x is equal to 5.5, and my graphing will look like this. Okay, for this question, I actually did the work. Okay, so it's going to be opening down because the multiplier is negative number. And then for the x-intercept, I separate the two factors and set each one of them to be 0 and then solve. So got 8, 0, 2, 0. What are the y-intercept? We know that x is going to be equal to 0. Okay, so you substitute that into the factored form and get negative 8. So what is the vertex? You take an average of the two x-intercepts and you get x coordinate is going to be 5. And then you substitute that into the equation and get the y value to be 4.5. And that's my vertex. And the line of symmetry is always going to go through the vertex. So it's going to be x is equal to 5. And that is my graphing. There are 4 more paradigm activities, but I would like you to do at least another 1 or 2. Okay, so 4 or 5 total. Then you can reflect on how you feel, and then finally